Alright, you guessed it. We're back for another episode. Should I call these episodes or like a series? Well, I do title them episodes, so we're going to go with that. Let's see. I have a new story for you. Shocker. I like to do voice impressions. You can ask my friends. Some of them say, hey, he's okay. And then someone was like, oh, he's awful. So when I go through drive-thrus, of course it's the best time to do it. They can't see your face, you can't see theirs until you get to the window, then it's super awkward because, like, you don't look Irish at all. Or you don't look like a girl at all. And if some are like, oh, it was a girl, then you just start questioning yourself. But anyway, so I went to, where was it? It was an Arby's? Yeah. I went to an Arby's because I like to get their double beef and cheddar, no sponsor. It's just a great sandwich. I decided to go with Scottish. So when I so I had to practice, right? Oh no, it wasn't Arby's, it was McDonald's. That's right, even better. So I was gonna get a Big Mac. Please don't judge. I had to get ready, so I'm prepping myself up. I'm going through sentences like, "Hi, it's a great. How are you doing? I'm doing great. Take care of yourself." So I'm like trying to run through a bunch of sentences in my head and a little bit verbally because once you start opening your mouth, it's gonna be hola, and they're gonna be like, hi, and then it's just like that was me being Scottish. So what happened was I get up to the menu board and she goes, hi, how can I help you? Please order whenever you're ready. And I'll be like, all right, I'll let you know when I'm ready. And she stays really quiet, and I'm like, okay, let's just keep going. So, and it was like way better than I could ever do now, like right now, because I'm like not in the Irish mindset, Scottish mindset. But I have Scottish background, or is it Irish? Irish background and Scotch. I have a background in one of the two. So I love using the accent, and if I let my facial hair grow out, it comes out a little bit red. So I see. How did I do it? It's a number one. So I said something like, I'm probably not going to do it right. I'll get a number one with a large drink, preferably Coke, not Pepsi or Sprite. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that. And she goes, anything else? No, I think that's pretty much it. And she's just like, all right, well, we'll see you at the window. I was like, all right, take care of you, lassie. And so to kind of keep my composure, because, like, I am trying to be in character, right? Try not to mess it up. So we go up to the window, and she looks at me and she's like, well, hi, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing great, lassie. How are you doing yourself? And then she just says, I'm having a good night. I'm like, it seems very busy, doesn't it? You got a long line back here. And she's like, yeah, I know. It's just one of those crazy nights. I think it was like a Tuesday. And so she gets my stuff ready, and then she, hands it to me, and I just say like whatever kind of a outro or goodbye is in that you would normally say in Irish. I can't really remember what it was. But I think I just said, take care of yourself. And so I head home. It was a lot of fun, right? So next week comes in. I go through McDonald's again. Don't judge. And I get the same thing. Don't judge. And when I get up to the window, and I did the accent again, by the way. Yeah, I did. Same accent. Yeah, I did the same accent. And I get up to the window, and it's the same girl. She looks at me, she goes, oh, see, I thought I recognized you from the accent. And I go, oh, great, that's great. It's been a long time. And she's like, oh my gosh, how you been? I'm like, oh, I've been doing fine. How about yourself? And we have this little conversation, and in my head, I'm like, oh, you are so screwed up. And so basically what I did was, like, I dug myself in an Irish hole, and now I have to sleep in it because this girl now thinks I'm Irish, and I feel like every time I come back, she's going to think that. Irish or Scottish, I don't know which one I sound more like, you tell me. And I couldn't help it. It's so much fun, okay? It is so much fun. And whether I'm good at it or not, I really don't care because I enjoy doing it. I mean, how many people are really, really good at impressions and have fun doing it? That doesn't make sense. People who are really good at impressions have fun doing it. And I like to think I'm decent, so I'm going to do it because I think, hey, if I sound halfway like a Irish guy, then sure, why not? In fact, that reminds me. When I was working at Best Buy, the store that I worked retail for, there was a guy who was Irish. And he wasn't Irish. He was Irish. His wife wasn't. They were going back to Ireland, and we were going through the transaction, and I go, man, I love your accent. And he's like, thank you, laddie. It's, I'm from Northern Ireland, or, whatever he said. And I go, my friends like to make fun of me because I do an Irish accent, but it's my favorite accent, and I love it. He's like, give it a go. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I'm like right on the spot right now. And he's like, come on, you have to do it now. And I'm like, all right, you got me on the spot. I'll give it my best. And he's like, Sonny, I never would have thought you weren't. You sound just like it. And I'm like, thank you. That's awesome. And I'm like, and he goes, if you never told me that you were not Scottish or Irish, whichever one I sound like, I never would have guessed that you were here from America. And America, I'm not sure, America, whatever. And he's like, you sound like you're from a specific area in Scotland. And I was like, dude, that's the biggest compliment I've ever gotten on my accent. I'll take it. And he's like, yeah, you do a great job. And I was like, that was so much fun. I said, that was so much fun. So yeah, we hit it off really well, but it was a lot of fun. So I like to do the Scottish Irish, whatever that ends up being. I do is it French or Italian? Is there really a difference? I'm sure there is. Anyone who's French and Italian watching this video and is probably pulling their hair out, I apologize. But yeah, I like to do a bunch of different accents, very few that I'm actually okay at. My sister worked at the mall, and yeah, you know which one I'm talking about. I'm talking to my sister. And she told me that there was a guy at a kiosk selling vitamin D moisturizer, and I thought, oh really? And she goes, he sounds just like you. And I go, you mean I sound just like him? She goes, well, either way. And I was like, that's funny. So I went there, and sure enough, he was working, and he was like, oh, would you like some vitamin D moisturizer? I was like, oh, how about you, monsieur? And I was like, I do like doing that. That's hilarious. And then I wanted to talk to him in that accent, but I didn't want to offend him or be called out on it and feel like an idiot like I usually do. So I just kind of let it go, but I was listening, and it was so funny. I was just like, oh, if only we could have a conversation and you would actually buy it. That'd be great. But that didn't happen, so maybe another time. Actually, I don't think he's there anymore. He probably went back to Italy or French land, France. Yeah, so they're fun to do. Accents are fun, and if you're good at it, it's even more fun because people are like, oh, he's actually from there, and you'd be like, I'm actually not. So, in the end, to wrap this up, I basically just love doing accents. Whether it's from Scotland, whether it's from France, or from Sweden. I gotta work on that one, that's for sure. My aunt and I, we actually have this thing going back and forth on the Megalodon, and I'm not even sure if it comes off as Swedish or what. And you can call it whatever you want, but it's really funny because we get super loud with it. She'll call me, and one of these days I'll do a phone call and I'll record it. But I'll call her, I'll be like, hi, yeah, is this a Megalodon residence? Is a hotline? And she's like, oh, yeah, this is a hotline. And it was really loud. And she'll be like, oh, but yeah, this is a hotline. How are you doing, yeah? And I'm like, oh, it's so good. It's so good to hear from you. Has there any new developments on the Megalodon? Is there anything new happening to the shark's fin? Like, no, the fin has been exactly the same since you were back here, yeah? So, we just have really funny, odd conversations. And I was in a car group, and, I called my friend, or I was in the car group with my friends. My aunt was texting me, and I said, let me call my aunt, and you guys gotta hear this accent. So we called, and they were like, please stop. And I was like, no. And so I just kind of kept it going. It lasted about 5-10 minutes, which is a lifetime for them. So worth it. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share. Just a couple of times when I used an accent. And if you want me to do that, then there's something wrong with you. Or maybe I'm doing an okay job at it. You tell me. Be brutally honest, but be super nice about it. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. How did I end it last time? I think I just said I was going to shut up.